Last name?
My last name is C-A-M-M-A-R-A-T as in Tom, A. And Ashley, who is our moderator and is watching the chat box for me, she will go ahead and put my email address and her email address. So if you ever have any questions about specifically defining your value proposition or any questions in general, you can always reach out to us.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so good morning. It is 9 o'clock and we are going to get started here. I'm really excited. Tiffany has spoken very highly of this group. So you've been together for a week and it is Friday. So I appreciate those who did jump on a Friday. Just like Tiffany, I will say, we already know the material, right? So we're dying to help you learn at the highest level for you to be successful in real estate. That being said, there will be a lot of participation. So if you can, and I hope you can, I need you to be purposeful, present, and prepared today. If you're comfortable with having your video on, I would appreciate that. If you choose not to, I can't make you. But when I do ask for feedback or participation, I would really appreciate getting out of your comfort zone because that's what we're here for. You're going to be together for the whole entire month of January. So I'd like to hear from a couple of people. What's your name? What have you been doing for work, or what's your background, and what market center are you from? Let's hear from just a couple people so that while we're filtering in these last minute people, we can get started successfully. So who would like to go first? Okay, go ahead. Randy?
Yeah, I'm from Hudson, New Hampshire, and I'm in the commercial market. And I guess I'm on day 4, getting my license, and I'm working out of the Nashua office in New Hampshire. Of course, I haven't made any money yet, but I do a lot of sales in ambient energy and help people lower electricity rates or looking to be consultants. And I do training and sales with my guys on Fridays, which is today, but that doesn't happen until later on tonight. So, and I'm retired Navy. I retired in 2002. And I have 3 wonderful children. My oldest is in real estate. My youngest is working for Amica as an IT. My daughter's working towards her nursing degree.
Excellent. I love how Randy was thorough. I love it. Okay, Shelly.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm great.
I don't know if you remember me.
I do.
But I'm Shelly Marr, and I'm just over my 1-year anniversary mark being licensed. I started out in Andover with Jamie and transferred because I moved to Keller Williams, Boston Northwest. I work out of the Concord office. This is my 2nd time in Ignite. I did the full program last year. I jump on when I can right now because essentially, I mean, I did a few things last year, not a lot, very slow year. Want to branch out further. I dabbled in rentals as well as I had, you know, a sale as on the listing side. I still have buyer clients. I'm active and I'm out there. I want to refresh, and there's always something to learn. So here I am.
I love it. Welcome back. And of course, I remember who you are. And that's the great thing about KW. So even though we're independently owned and operated, there's so many market centers or brokerages across the US that it's very easy to slide from one to another when you're moving. And so I appreciate you saying that, Shelly. All right, let's hear from maybe 2 more people and we'll get started. We can do it. I know we can do it. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
All right, I can do it.
Okay,
my name's Will. I live in Johnston, Rhode Island. I out of Market Center 700 with Jennifer Bove, KW Coastal in Warwick, Rhode Island. I have an odd situation because I actually have a separate brokerage in Massachusetts, Rowie Homes. It was just the way it worked out for now, and I'm probably going to consolidate that shortly. But I had some activity in Massachusetts, and I really want to focus more on Rhode Island this year. Preferably to middle to higher end properties, because most of my stuff was in Massachusetts was 700,000 to $1.5 million, and I enjoy working with those clients. The one thing that's a little different about me is I want to bring environmental concerns or energy efficiency to homes when if I can offer the service or when we're buying or selling a home, because I really have a thing for the environment and critters and things like that. So it's highly important to me.
So I love it. You're in the right class today because we're going to be talking about value proposition. And so value proposition is defined differently for buyers and sellers, but that's definitely something that you're going to be able to bring to the table that is a unique value proposition to consumers when going down that path. So you're in the right place. Nice to meet you. All right, one more person. I know you guys are wicked excited. One more person, share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move forward.
I'm Marjorie Weber.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Boosie hair.
Did we just get married?
It's been a while. Every so often it just comes out because I was married to somebody else for a long time.
All right, that's after hours. We call that after hours.
Yeah, you don't want to hear about it. Okay. I was in banking for 20 years or so, and then been an interior designer for 17, and I've had my license for about 5 months, and
Right.
I'm just really now getting ignited, so to speak.
All right.
This class is helping me a lot.
Good.
Will, my ex-husband works for Roby. He's
Uh-huh.
a construction lead.
Yeah, out of Agawam.
That's why I said Weber, I think, because I had his name in my head.
Very nice.
Steve Weber. I don't
I haven't
know.
met him. Is he out of Connecticut or Western Mass?
He's out of Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yeah, it was to the Agawam in Westboro. I'm out of Westboro, Central Mass.
Yep.
I love it. So see,
Anyway.
it's a big world, but a small world, everyone. So we're gonna get
That's a
cozy.
bunch of inbreeding. Most industries have inbreeders, and that's what we keep doing.
I love it. I love it. Janice, you have your hand raised. I think you just have to come off mute if you did want to say something.
Sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
This is Janice Green. I am unique in that I am with Cape Cod in the islands. However, I'm only there about 4 months a year, working there. I've been in the industry for 18 years. And the reason I don't participate or interfere is because I have been in the industry for 18 years. And I try and respect the fact that everybody else needs the time. I will tell you, I have taken Ignite every single chance I can, and I learn so many new things each time. So thank you for letting me attend from across California, and I don't let you see me because often I'm in my pajamas. So thank you.
COVID. So many wonderful things.
Well, no, I work out here with another firm as well for various reasons, but I will tell you, there is no better training than Keller Williams. There is no better training. So thank you.
Thank you. So I love that we have a few experienced agents on here, because when we get into crafting our value proposition, I may call on you guys to share your value proposition, which is somewhat of an elevator speech, which we'll get into, on why would someone choose you? And so I appreciate that and respect that, but I don't want to talk this whole entire 2.5 hours. So the more the merrier. And it is very hard. I disclosed this before, being an instructor and seeing the hands raised. So I apologize in advance if myself or Ashley, who's going to introduce herself in a moment, don't see your hand raised. At any moment, just unmute yourself and say, hi, this is Jamie. I have a question. If we miss you. So please don't, we're not offended, the more the merrier. So Ashley, can you introduce yourself and we're gonna continue to get going? Oh, I don't know what happened there.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Ashley. I am the assistant team leader here in Andover.
Very nice. And let's see. Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself while I'm just fixing my computer here, because I don't know what just happened. Again, technology, everybody. Am I muted? No, everybody can hear me, yes? Okay. All right, perfect. So let's see. I'm gonna try this again for everybody. Right. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes,
And you just see the slide of the session 4, correct?
yes.
Okay, perfect. I apologize. I don't know what happened there. Okay, well, the course overview for today is, like we mentioned at the end of the first segment, real estate agent of choice. Today's session, we're going to discuss value proposition and the benefits of having one. We are also going to discuss how to define your value proposition by uncovering what makes you uniquely qualified to meet your customers and clients' needs. And so knowing this, you'll begin to use it in conversation with potential clients. But before we begin, I know that we have introduced the success system each day that you are supposed to be participating in. How are we doing with the success system so far? On a scale 1 to 10, are we entering 10 contacts? Are we having conversations? Is everyone trying to do the actions every day?
Um,
yeah.
Yes, I have been. I should have been doing this 3 months ago, but or more.
Yeah,
And there's other little loose ends that I didn't realize I hadn't gotten to, you know, on near in or whatever it might be. So, so I'm dealing with that too.
January, so everyone makes January plans, right? In real estate, in being entrepreneurial, any business, getting out the cobwebs and organizing ourselves is the most important thing we can do. And so if you haven't done it yet, if you're an experienced agent, a new agent, today is the day. It's so important that if you add 10 contacts to your database daily, that you will be successful, because the MREA says for every 200 contacts that are in your database, you will net or gross this much money. And so that is the purpose here. You know, when we talk about command on the second portion and entering contacts and things like that, how many of you subliminally get emails from Elements or like a massage place or a reminder for, you know, a barber or your haircut or whatever it is? So these subliminal emails that go out, you might not need something today. Let's take the massage as the example. But if they're consistent in sending you an email and you're getting the email weekly or daily, and you wake up on Saturday morning at 7:30 and you're like, oh my gosh, I could really use a massage today, you automatically go to, oh my God, I get those emails every day from Elements. You go back to Elements from yesterday and you see if there was availability. So it is important to be able to subliminally market and connect with your database so that they are always remembering that you can help them buy, sell, invest, and rent. There's nothing worse than a friend or a family member or a neighbor, and they put their house on the market, or in conversation, they tell you that they just purchased something, and you're there thinking, oh my gosh, I could have helped you. And we didn't do a great job explaining to people and being in the forefront of how we could help them daily. Make sense? All right, so by the end of the day, you'll be able to define the meaning. You'll be working on your value proposition. You'll explain the benefits of creating a personalized value proposition and describing what buyers and sellers value the most in their real estate experience. So we'll start our session today by learning about what is defining our value proposition. So knowing what skills and strengths that you bring to the table. We heard some today when people were sharing what they do. You know, we had Will, you know, loves the environment, talking about energy. We have an experienced agent. If there's school teachers, if they're chefs. Right now, while I'm speaking, by the way, this will be the interactive part. In the chat, let me know what you've done in the past. Do we have school teachers? Do we have salespeople? Do we have a landscaper? You know, just put down in the chat what we have here on the call, because those skill sets and communication skills and things like that are going to come into play when you're building your value proposition today. So it's a unique and memorable and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you. And so how many of you have been in a grocery store? And if you're in real estate, or if you have your own business currently, let's just say you're wearing a puffer jacket, or I own restaurants here in the Andover area. So I'll have, a La Rosa hat or a La Fina hat, and somebody in line engages in conversation. Oh, do you go to that place? Or, I've always wanted to go to that place. Or if you have a KW Success vest, which I also have, they'll say, oh, you must be in real estate. How's the market? And once you answer the question with a good, it's good, it's busy, have you shut the conversation down pretty much at that point? Well, yes, because you haven't said maybe something specific and purposeful and persuasive and unique and said to them, well, it depends. Are you in a seller's market or are you in a buyer's market? Now that person either regrets asking you the question very casually in line, or they're like, ooh, this person's good. We're thinking about selling, or we're getting ready to buy in Boca Raton, whatever it is. And so with this unique, memorable, and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you, you're also going to address the specifics and special need of the buyers and sellers in your market. You're going to state what you'll do for your clients to earn your commission and hold you accountable to high standards. And so when we talk about standards, what does standard mean to you? What does a standard mean to you?
Minimum expectation.
Okay. Expectation, minimum expectation.
Mhm.
Here's the thing with standards. As parents, as coworkers, as professionals, we have standards. Once we lower the standard, that becomes the new standard. So when we're very clear about our value and about our standards and what we have to offer to both buyers and sellers, that's where the benchmark is. So one of our beliefs in the Y4C 2Ts, and if you're new to Keller Williams, the C is commitment in all things. And so your value proposition ultimately is a promise to fulfill your client's needs. What are other examples, do you think, of how a value proposition can align with the Y4C 2Ts? And if we don't know what that is, please raise your hand. Do not be embarrassed. We have the win-win or no deal to ensure that all who are involved in each real estate transaction will have the best outcome, including yourself. Customers always come first. Do these sound familiar? Hopefully they do. And so customers always come first, always come from curiosity. Okay. Don't be a problem maker, be a solution maker. Don't be in problem mode, be in solution mode. Our job is not just real estate. How many of you can raise your hand and have participated in a transaction yet and can agree that we're not just there to list a property, sell a property, negotiate. Sometimes we become their teacher, their therapist. When things are great, they're great for the client. When things are bad, they're bad for who? Us.
Everyone.
Everybody. And why? Because everyone's quick to point fingers, because this is a huge opportunity. I mean, it's the American dream to own a property. And so they're entrusting you, to be honest, with one of the biggest financial transactions of their lifetime. And so we have to look at it each time as that, even if that person has owned 3 homes prior or it's their first home. It's a huge asset. It's a valuable asset, and they're hiring and trusting you. So let's take a look at the quote from the MREA. If you don't know what that is, let's see, Will, what's the MREA?
It says it right down there. Millionaire real estate agent. Book.
Excellent. All right, no cheating, no cheating.
You gave it to me.
The MREA. So the quote, top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them. How many of you have worked with a real estate agent in the past, and not yourself, but a different, just raise your hand. Okay. There are agents who are so great at knowing and defining and articulating their value proposition, their customer service, their follow-up. You can tell those versus the other ones that are kind of winging it. Yes or no? Has anyone had a bad experience? Please take yourself off mute with a real estate agent and can share that experience.
Hi.
Hi, Adele.
So I've been a realtor a year. I'm doing it part-time right now. I've done better than I expected the first year, but my first two experiences were pretty bad with the realtors, and I decided that that's not the realtor I want to be. The first one, she was so nice when I spoke to her on the phone. I just felt she didn't represent her client. She could have made more money with her client than she did. I never even met her. She was so nice on the phone the first time. She left a key. She told me where the key was. Go in, leave the key there. Yeah, everything I said, yes, yes, yes. And then I never heard from her. And the only time I did hear from her is when I really got upset because I felt like I wasn't representing my client at this point because I couldn't get a hold of her.
Mhm.
So it taught me what not to do the first two transactions I had. And then I had a really nice realtor, and I said, okay, this is how you're supposed to treat people. This is a big investment for most people. It's their biggest,
Yeah.
And, you
Communication
have to
is
take that in, not just your commission part. That's their life, So
Mhm.
that's it.
So you said a couple things there. Compensation and cooperation, please write those words down. Those are two different words. As real estate professionals, we cooperate with one another. Compensation comes at the end when you have done a fantastic job because you were hired to do a job that you agreed to do based on the contract and the disclosure. And communication is everything. So there's another C word. We're going to make a list today. Communication and being proactive. There's nothing worse when you're working with clients and you're waiting for an answer. I would rather you reach out to the client on the other side and say, hey, it's Jamie. I'm just letting you know, still haven't heard from Adele yet. Still waiting for the sellers who are doctors to get done with their shift to accept or deny your offer. Please be patient, but I'm just calling to check in that there's no word. When you're proactive, people like that, it feels like you're working for them. When you go missing, that's the worst. Okay, so having a value proposition benefits your business in a few ways. So number one, it helps your clients understand your value and your expertise. Now, sometimes agents who jump on Ignite, they're a little nervous when we talk about value proposition because they don't know what they don't know. And they're nervous that they've never sold anything, so they don't really feel like they have any value yet. Take that out of your mind. You definitely have value. If you have had a job, then you've learned how to what? Communicate, work with people, ask questions. Maybe you're bilingual and you can translate. So there are definitely things that you have to bring to the table, even if you haven't sold anything, that creates a value on why somebody wants to work specifically with you. Maybe you have kids in school and you're on the school committee or the town board for some reason. And even though you haven't done the actual transactions of real estate, you know a lot about the town, the community, you have relationships with the building inspector, things like that. So not everyone knows why they should hire an agent for their real estate needs, but sharing your value proposition with potential clients provides them an opportunity to see how working with you could probably make their real estate experience better. All right, number 2, protects your commission. So your value proposition helps you stand out from the competition, and it helps your clients understand what they're paying for. And I just said a minute ago, cooperation versus compensation, right? So both buyers and sellers want to know why they're hiring you and why they're going to pay you. And we're going to talk about who pays who in a couple more slides. And build strong and trustable relationships. So your value proposition is your promise to your client. By keeping your word when working with your client, you earn their trust. Clients who trust you are probably more likely to hire you again in the future and refer you to their friends and family. I mean, those seem pretty basic, I hope. So when learning how to define your value proposition, it probably would be helpful to most of you to look examples of value propositions. And I'm just gonna say, I believe it was Janice, and maybe even Will, I'll be calling on you shortly to talk about maybe the value that you bring as an experienced agent in real estate. But it's gonna be helpful to look at examples of value propositions from well-known and successful companies. So Airbnb, can someone raise their hand and read the value proposition of Airbnb? Just unmute yourself and say, I'm Jamie, Airbnb, and read it.
I'm Randy.
Shelly.
I'm
Go
Randy.
ahead, Randy.
Yes, look at how many people talked at the same time. That's the goal. Okay, Randy, jump in for Airbnb.
Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that is local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable.
Okay, how many of you know Airbnb? Okay, do you believe that that statement is what they try to provide? Is that their value proposition? Is that what they're trying to do?
I think so. When I did an Airbnb out in Lee, Utah last October, a year ago from this past October. And the people were very good to us out there. The place was clean. There was information there for traveling and going down the four corners and stuff like that.
Yep.
It was suitable. They were very easy to work with. The prices were great. They contacted us when we arrived and they contacted us when we left, and I would use them again.
So value proposition and customer experience.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
write this down. Customer service, cross out the word service and put experience. That's a personal thing that I like. I feel like when there is a client customer experience, it's better than customer service. And here's why. I told you that I own restaurants. How many of you tonight, so it's Friday night, are going to go home with your significant other or friends and want to go out to eat? And now the process starts of where do you want to go? And then we start thinking about where do we want to go eat? How many of you have your favorite bartender, favorite waitress, favorite hostess, favorite, but why? Why are they your favorite?
The people.
The people, the experience, they make you feel so great. They see you, Randy, something's coming up in the bar in a minute. I'm closing out down at the end. Give me a few minutes. You're like, yes, sir. That's why we're coming here, right? Or your favorite waitress and you're like, oh, we really want to sit over at Rachel's. We'll wait 20 minutes, but can we sit at Rachel's area? Absolutely. It's the experience that makes you feel great about the $100 or $150, depending on where you go, that you're about to drop and you're okay with it. Okay. When you create a customer experience as well, when something goes wrong, do we feel a little bit better about paying for the experience, even though something's going wrong because of the client experience? Think about that for a minute.
I think that's a good question. And I think the only way I could answer it, if I'm at a place that I usually go to and something goes wrong, and I've been there so many times, and that's the first time, I'm going to say, okay, not every company or not every restaurant that I go to is going to be perfect. There's going to be a bad day, and everyone has those. But if I'm still getting that good service
Mhm.
out of that whole deal, I myself, who I am, I'm gonna still go back, you know? Maybe that's the wrong answer, but I don't know if there's a right or a wrong. I think it's how you evaluate the situation and how you can juggle it and see the good and the bad out of it. I always tell people, for every negative, there's a positive. For every positive, there's a negative, and there's a balance of in between. So I would go back.
Yeah, so there is no, it's a trick question, right? There is no right or wrong answer. What I'm trying to just get the point across is, if you go to a place where there's an amazing client experience, you feel like you feel at home, you feel great, you go there all the time, they know what you like to order, whatever it is that brings you there. If there's a hiccup because the food's running late, if it's a hiccup because something was overcooked wrong, the bartender's in the weeds, and so your drink's not getting to the table, and you've gone to that place because of the experience, it's natural to be like, you know what, it's okay, because they made you feel good and you know that they're going to fix it. And so when you are a real estate agent, I'm telling you right now, you are Bob the Builder, you're the fixer, you're everything. And so the faster that you can create solutions and not be part of creating the problems, the better your experience will be for your clients, and they will use you again. Let's look at Walmart for a moment, because everybody knows Walmart. Let's see, I don't know. Brianna, can you read Walmart for me?
Hi.
Hi.
Everyday low prices for a broad range of goods that are always in stock in convenient geographic locations.
Okay, so prior to COVID, the always in stock probably was a solid statement. However, isn't that Walmart? Yes, low prices, always stocked. That's their customer experience. That's their value proposition. State Farm, let's look at State Farm for a minute. It's just a one-liner. Here to help life go right. I mean, we think about Geico. We think about Allstate. I mean, Allstate, you see that girl that does Allstate. They make a costume for Halloween after her with Allstate, if you think about it, all right? But their value proposition carries through. So does Geico, so do these things. QuickBooks, same thing. Here are some examples. So these should be in your manual so that when you go back to craft yours, it will be a little bit easier when you're crafting it. So far in Ignite, we've discussed this value, which is enhanced as part of Keller Williams, which it means to serve as a fiduciary for your clients. The importance of being a market expert. So how does being part of Keller Williams, since you're, I think, all Keller Williams, unless we have a guest, and that's great too. How is it being part of the family bolster your value proposition? How do you think there's value there? You choosing to be here, how is that going to really bring value to the client and to yourself?
It's a huge network of people.
Unbelievable network. Who said that?
Me, Margie.
Okay, Margie, sorry. So yes, here's the biggest missed opportunity. We are the #1 company for referral. Referrals are so easy across the US and international. We have a referral database. It's in the back end of Command. Ask your MCTT or your productivity coach how to use it. So you can refer business anywhere. If you have people that are moving to Florida, they're going to Bonita Springs, you can look up Bonita Springs on the referral network. I see Arlene Santangelo is in Bonita Springs. I call Arlene, I say, Arlene, this is Jamie Camerata. I have wonderful clients that are specifically looking in that area. Do you service the Village Green, the this, the that? That's specifically where they're looking. You do, great. How many sales have you had? Great. Okay, I'm going to introduce you both into an email. Will you help them? Yes, I'll help them. I'll send over the referral form of 25% referral fee over to you. Because they're gonna, you will receive 25% as a referral to the agent in an area that you're not willing to drive, fly, or you don't have a license in. And so the referral network and the database is huge. Yes, thank you. So you have access to command. You have a CRM platform, which allows you to streamline the entire real estate transaction in such an organized fashion so that the experience for your clients is seamless. How does your value proposition relate to serving as a fiduciary for your clients, do you think? So you have a fiduciary, so when you, depending on what state you are, you're gonna sign a disclosure. When you're representing a buyer or seller, which we're gonna jump into in a moment, you have a fiduciary responsibility for care, obedience, due diligence, all these big words you are responsible for. So being a fiduciary, your clients it means that you are going to place their best interest above everything else. While serving as a fiduciary, you simultaneously raise your level of service and value that you provide to your client, which will heighten your value proposition, right? You're pulling reports, you're doing your due diligence, you're asking questions, you're getting the seller's disclosure, you're going to the town hall or influencing your buyer to go to the town hall to see whether or not the stories that are told from the neighbor next door that they're gonna they're gonna use that field in the back to build a elementary school or whatever it is. And you have to know these things. And so being in a market and being a market expert adds to your value proposition, because why? Why do you need to be a market expert? What's your job? What's your job?
Sell commercial real estate. So I need
Sell
to be an
commercial-
expert.
Great, sell commercial real estate. So when you're in commercial real estate, you need to understand that there's no offer to purchase. We go right to a letter of intent. There's a longer time to do due diligence because it's a commercial property. It's a different commission scale if you're a true commercial agent versus residential. You need to know the different zoning on commercial when someone's looking at a building and they're looking at a industrial building and it's near residential, but somebody wants to put, a golf simulator, Top Golf here. Can they do it? Yes or no? Can they put a brewery? Are the ceilings high enough? Right? So the market is the knowledge of the solds, the under agreements, the days on market. If your market center is not running classes, or MLS is not running classes that you can participate in on understanding those numbers, I definitely will direct you to the NAR website. And there are a lot of great videos and a lot of market stats on the National Association of Realtors site, right at your fingertips with videos so that you can understand the market. Okay. When somebody says to you, hey, Karen, how's the market? I mean, rates are high, crazy last 2 years. But if you're very knowledgeable, and to go back to what we said earlier about, well, it depends. Are you in a buyer market or a seller market right now? And then that person says, oh, neither. I was just wondering, you had a jacket that said KW Success Realty. And so as a real estate agent, must have been a great time to be a real estate agent. It was very lucrative, was it not? Real estate agents made 30% more the last 2 years doing the same activities that they did in 2019, probably sold less units, made more money because of inflation and low rates. Do you agree? That's what happened. And so right now, during this shift market, where are rates now? 7. What's the inventory look like? Are we writing 50 offers with our buyers on one property? No. Sellers have to be realistic about pricing their properties now. And so you have a fiduciary responsibility to understand your market and be the best expert that you possibly can. Okay. So let's take a look at some ways that we can charge up your value proposition about KW, fiduciary, and market expert. So KW value, you could say, I have access to the collective knowledge and experience of nearly 200,000 agents worldwide. Could that be, and again, I would screenshot this, get your phones out. What kind of classroom says you can have your phones? I'd love to see phones all around on Zoom right now. So these might be some of the lines that you might want in your value proposition. At fiduciary responsibility, I can point you to reputable resources to determine the best school districts for your kids. Market expert, I can help you price your home to sell because I am very tuned into the market of the moment. And then your client's like, what's the market of the moment? Well, it's what's happening today. It's kind of like oil prices. They delivered my oil yesterday. Did I have a heart attack this time? No, it was $4.30 a unit. Did I have a heart attack in July when they tried to fill it at $6.10? Yes. Does it change daily? Yes. Does the stock market change daily? Yes. Does the real estate market change daily? Yes. But it's a slow progression and you don't feel it and see it right away. But if you're following it daily, a lot of your market centers, and this is a great thing about Keller Williams, they post a flyer or something in your area, Essex County, depending on where you live, on what's the market pulse today or the market of the moment. When you're educating clients out in social media or in person, and you know just a couple of numbers, the client or potential client, they're going to feel like you know what you're talking about. If you don't have anything to kind of share and you're like, you know what are you seeing on Zillow? And they're like, what? Zillow is not an amazing platform to collect information. And two, don't ask them. You should know this information, if that makes sense. Okay. So this is participation time. I want 3 people to speak about value proposition. Do we have a good understanding? Do you understand that we should be adding fiduciary responsibility, client experience, knowledge, expertise? Is this making sense, not making sense? Talk to me. Okay.
May.
If you raised your hand, number 1 and then number 2 go, because I can't see them. Sorry.
This is Margie.
Hi, Margie.
When you said, to share it, there's a lot that we all can offer in different ways. How can I best share it without kind of crossing the line? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
All
right.
I have 2 businesses, so,
Yep. So get a little bit more specific about your question. Do you mean like on social media? How do you share information that doesn't cross over into like, you're not a lender, you're not an attorney, or?
I'm an interior designer, so I can be really helpful for buyers and sellers. I can imagine what a place would look like where many people can't look past the ugly old linoleum, But so I guess I just want to be careful, but I also want to optimize how I can share my other strengths.
Okay. So that, in my opinion, if anybody else has something to share, please help her. I think it's all in how you cross promote it. I think you answered your own question. You have a natural eye, being a interior designer, to be able to see past the wrong wall color, the older kitchen, the linoleum floors, the wall that's dividing maybe a kitchen and a bigger space that might allow a client to purchase this property based on their wants and needs by putting a LTV beam, up here, taking out this wall. You might have some of those qualities. So maybe posting a this or that, or a before and after, is now the time to put, with rates high, is now the time to sell? Or is it now the time to hire you as an interior decorator and update that playroom that you've always wanted to do? I completely understand what you're saying about having two businesses. Again, being a restaurant owner, people know me as a restaurant owner. Sometimes they forget what I do here at Keller Williams. So that will be a little bit of a struggle, but I think your coach could probably help you. And
Okay.
in the meantime, if anybody here in the chat has an idea for her, please just write it in the chat. That would be great.
Like I have different pages for different things, but I know I'm not supposed to pull some stuff from one to another and
Yeah,
posting and different things like that. So I don't know.
yeah. You want to be careful too. Everyone who is on here today, 54 participants, no more generalistic terms. And what I mean by that is, please don't say to somebody when you meet them and they say, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, hey, Jason Clark, like, hey, what do you do? And Jason says, I'm a real estate agent. What does that even mean? Think about that. When you meet somebody and they're like, I'm an attorney. High five, buddy. What does that mean? What specifically can you do? Are you a real estate attorney? Are you a divorce attorney, estate attorney? Like, what is it? So when somebody says, what do you do? And you're a real estate agent, you got to finish that off. Maybe with, I'm a real estate agent who can help you sell, buy, invest, and rent properties. Are you interested in purchasing a property or selling a property? Do you have an estate property that will be inherited to you? Like, the more questions that you have and the more you say to somebody, I'm telling you, it's when your friends and family say to you, because everybody gets to this point where they're like, Jason, I knew you said you were in real estate, but I mean, I didn't know that you could sell our house. I swear to God, it happens. And you're like, what do you think I do? So you are you're a billboard for yourself. You have to be able to tell people, I can help you buy, sell, invest, and rent. Where are we at? What are we doing? Pick a category. Okay. All right. So let's dive into what matters most to buyers and sellers, because they are two different categories, and you're going to bring different expertise knowledge that buyers are going to be looking at if they're hiring you as a buyer agent, or what sellers are looking for when they hire you as a seller's agent. So if you have your participant guide, awesome. If you don't, we'll put the link back in the chat. If you scroll up to the top of the chat, I put the link up there. Understanding what buyers and sellers want out of their real estate experience, it isn't complex, okay? It requires that you know the purpose of real estate. The purpose of real estate is different for these two clientele, buyer and sellers. So the MREA, Gary says, for buyers, their goal is to find just the right home at the best price in the right amount of time for the least number of problems. I knew my computer was going to do that, so I will just get rid of my personal emails. How's that? Okay, so let's read that one again. For buyers, their goal is to find just the right home at the right price, because who wants to overpay, right? Buyers feel like they're in the control and they're like, I don't want to pay a lot, but I want to pay what I'm comfortable paying in the right amount of time. I'm renting and I'm going to be out of a rental in 3 months, so I have to be closing a property, or I need it to line up with me selling my other property with the least number of problems. So that's a big one. Problems arise in every business that you do. Do you agree? Everyone here, you've worked somewhere. Have you ever had a problem at whatever job you've had? Yes. Do you have the same problem sometimes where you're like, I know that this is coming? Yes. So you have to know how to position yourself to solve them. For sellers, their goal is to net, not just gross. What's gross? Someone take themselves. What's the difference between gross and net?
Gross, you haven't paid commissions, your mortgage off, anything like that yet.
Correct.
Net is what you put in your pocket.
Excellent. Excellent. Gross. Okay. $500,000 for the property. We got it under agreement for 500, but we signed a 5% contract with Keller Williams for Jason to list my property. So 5% of 500,000 is what?
25.
25,000. So what are they netting?
475.
475. And I'm going to tell you something. For sellers, they always want to net the most, and they sometimes forget and start doing the math of the commission that they hired you to do, because they're like, oh my God, I have to pay you 25. I have to pay my mortgage off. I have to do this. I have to pay the attorney. I have to pay this taxes. I have to pay taxes on property and transfer. And then they're like, what am I going to net? Okay, so for sellers, their goal is to net the most money in the shortest amount of time with the least number of problems. There's some commonality there, right? Nobody wants problems, and they want to do it as fast as possible. If you don't understand your client's goals, then they're going to have a poor experience and they're not going to use you. So let's talk about the phrase with the least number of problems, which obviously is important for buyers and sellers. Sometimes problems will occur, yet with your due diligence, they can be prevented or minimized. There are some things that are out of your control, by the way. Selling a home, how many of you have bought or sold a home? Raise your hand. It's an emotional process. How many of you today would jump up and down if I said to you, we're putting your house on the market today? The anxiety, oh, some of you are shaking your head like not a chance. You got to clean, you got to organize, you have to get ready, you have to this. There's so many moving parts. It's very emotional. And so there are problems that will arise that you couldn't prevent. But if it has something to do with due diligence, the other agent on the other side, the lender, the attorneys, the lack of communication, over communicating, honestly, that's on you guys. Okay, so as a real estate agent, what are some possible challenges that you think you can anticipate for your clients, and how can you prevent them or minimize them?
I mean, I think client education is one of the biggest pieces of it to make sure problems don't occur. Simple example, one of the most misunderstood words is lender. That most new buyers, first-time buyers, have no idea what a lender is, and just a simple definition of terms we're using. Things like that, that thorough process of giving them full understanding, listening to what they're looking for, and then putting it together with the resource. I think it's probably the easiest way to mitigate those kinds of things.
Fantastic. I heard two things. Number one, everyone belongs to Keller Williams, I assume, on this call. How many acronyms do we have in our company? There's so many. You hear your team leader say TL, OP, ALC, 411, GPS, 135. We're like, what's happening? What are we talking about? When someone's buying a property or selling a property, even if they've done it over and over, the terms they don't understand: purchase and sale, lender, broker. Honestly, and it's your job to educate them. So sometimes having a cheat sheet, that might work, and communicating exactly with what you just said, communicating and ironing out those things so that they're not a problem. It's just, honestly, it's over communicating to them before a challenge could arise. Your seller is having second thoughts about selling their home. To prevent or minimize challenges, you could do a CMA to remind the seller of their motivation to move, remind the seller about their destination, or discuss the risks of starting over. So we're going to go a little slower on that one, okay? So sometimes when a seller's having second thoughts, you go to their house, they're like, we're thinking, because everyone's thinking, right? It's January. I'm thinking about losing 30 pounds. I'm thinking about dry January. I'm thinking about, and then somehow your mind changes. Okay. So with properties, you need to know the motivation as to why. That is your first job. Why are you moving, and where are you going, and who is helping you get there? Why do I say who? Who talked about the referral network? If no one's helping him on the other side down in Boca Raton, who do I want to help them? Definitely a Keller Williams agent that A, I'm getting 25%, B, I've done my due diligence and research. I think they're a great fit. They know Boca Raton, they know the Village Park Green. I want them to go there. So why are they moving? And when sometimes sellers have second thoughts, if you bring them back to that pain and pleasure of, didn't you say that you wanted to be down in Boca Raton because your grandkids are there and you want to be able to help your daughter balance that schedule so she doesn't have to hire a babysitter? When does she start that new job? What does that look like? Is that really a goal of yours in the next 30, 60, 90 days? I'd love to help you get there. And who's helping you on the other side? Because there's so many cooks in the kitchen that if I could suggest someone down in Boca Raton that knows that area, this could go really smoothly, because then they'll know all of the moving parts up here so that we can sell and price your property at the best price and sell it in the shortest amount of time to net you the most money to get you down to your grandkids. Would that work for you? And they're like, okay, we're back on, game on, we're selling. It's about the grandkids, okay? So that is your job. So the general strategies that you have in place to prevent or minimize challenges, understand the mindset of buyers and sellers. Communicate often. Spend enough time knowing your clients. Now, does that mean spending enough time by showing them a ton of properties or hanging out at the seller's house? No. But what if you had and created a value proposition sheet, like a VIP sheet for my favorite things? Or you already created 10 favorite things I love about my neighborhood. You know what, Judy? Why don't you start with these couple of forms that I have here? There must be reasons that you love living in this neighborhood that as a real estate agent, I can't personally disclose, but as a seller, you can disclose why you love living here. And I can put that sheet into our beautiful listing binder. So when people are looking through the house and they have questions and they go to the binder that has the plot plan and it has all this pretty stuff, they're going to come across 3 pages. One of them is going to be 10 things I love about my house. The other thing is the utility costs. You know, if they know how much you pay for oil and they weren't thinking about purchasing a property that had oil because they could only go up to, their budget was $2,300 all in a month for expenses, it might be the determining factor as to they put the offer in or they don't. It's things like that. Handle or closely oversee the contract to close process. If you're going to hire a transaction coordinator, that's awesome, but always be in the know. Just always be in the know of the moving parts from the attorney, from the lender, from your transaction coordinator, from the agent on the other side, whoever's involved at that point. Anticipate, challenge, and take preventive actions to avoid things. And like I said before, we want to always be in creative solution mode, okay? We don't want to be the ones doing problems. So here are some top 10 service areas of the buyer value proposition from the MREA. And these are services that agents provide to the buyer. Needs analysis, pre-qual or pre-approval. Okay, pre-qualification means I went online, I filled out some information, I didn't send my W-2s in, I was truthful, hopefully, and this is what I'm pre-qualified for. This is a $500,000 mortgage. A pre-approval means they've looked at my W-2s, they've looked at my debt ratio, they've pulled my credit, and in reality, skirt, I'm only approved for 400 because I missed a couple of benchmarks that wouldn't qualify, and so no lender is going to give me this money. The home search, making an offer, negotiations, vendor coordinating. Sometimes, you know, we talked about being an interior designer. So staging, if that's a value proposition in your client experience that you're creating as Jamie Camerata real estate team, I might have affiliates that will be called upon to enhance this experience in order to coordinate a successful transfer of a listing or a potential buyer. Pre-close preparation, closing, and post-closing. So these things you will be responsible for. So here are the top 10 service areas of a seller's value proposition from the MREA. And so for a seller, what they're looking for is a needs analysis. So their wants, their needs, where are you going, who's helping you get there, that kind of thing. Pricing strategy. Most sellers think that they know everything about selling their property. So they've gone onto the computer, they've played around, and even though they're a doctor or a lawyer or this or that or a school teacher, somehow overnight they got a degree as a real estate agent, and they want to tell you what their house is worth. And so, as we all know, you're not even going to tell them. You're not telling them what their house is worth. The facts of what has sold, what's under agreement, what the market is saying. The market is saying your house is worth this. The buyers who are coming to the table with the check, they're telling me based on this 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot, no garage next to a cemetery, blah, 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 your house is actually worth this. You know how I know? Because those buyers are going to go look at your house and these 3 other homes priced in this range. And this is what they're going to get for that dollar and cents amount. So pricing strategy, they're going to look for you. Property preparation. What should I do? Should I spend money and completely change all these bold colors to neutral gray for 10 grand to get an extra 50 grand? Or should I just leave it as is and price it right? When you receive an offer, negotiating, selling the property, pre-close preparation, closings, and post-closings. So they want to know the knowledge. All right. Things haven't changed in the industry, but technology has. There's no more old school, come into the office and sign 100 pages of a purchase and sale. Those days are over. DocuSign, it's a blessing. Dot loop, it's a blessing. You can be on the beach as a real estate agent, writing an offer. Bloop, sign please. Technology is wonderful. Okay, so buyers, check out the graph. What buyers want most from their agent? What do we see here? 52% want help finding the right home to purchase. And these statistics are pulled from the 2021 report from NAR, the National Association of Realtors. That's why I said to all of you, if you want to have knowledge and it's not being run in your market center and this is all a foreign language to you and you're like, I want to know this so bad, but where do I start? I promise you, start there because they have wonderful videos. So 52% in 2021. So which was really in 2020, by the way, because this is the reports that came out in 2021, so don't be tricked. But nonetheless, they want you to help find the right home to purchase, 52% of them. The buyer to negotiate the terms of the sale, when they're looking for a real estate agent, 13% of buyers are looking for your negotiation tactics as a real estate agent when they're interviewing real estate agents as a buyer. Price negotiations. Okay, so price and terms are different. So 13%, so isn't this interesting? 13% of the buyers, they're looking for somebody to negotiate the terms of the sale. Timing, home inspection issues, GFI outlets being changed, sound and safe, when do we close, things like that. For pricing, 11%. And then quote, other is 24%. So what could be in the other? What's in the category of other? As when clients are looking to a buyer agent, they're looking for you to find the right property if they haven't already, or at least introduce them to it by putting them on a drip campaign, calling them and saying, hey, listen, there's one coming on in my neighborhood. I was at a party last night and Deb Lucci was there and she said she has 3 coming on in Andover and I think one of them fits your needs. Or they found something that you teed up on the MLS and you've preactively sent that to them. They want you to negotiate. They don't want you to settle. They don't want you to be timid. Do you ask great questions? Do you have knowledge of the market where that's overpriced, it's not overpriced, things like that. The other is maybe they need a lender. Okay, not all buyers, by the way, have a lender in mind. Shelly, you have a question?
Oh, no, I thought you were actually tossing that out for us to throw in the other.
Yeah, tell me, what's the other? You know this stuff.
I think accessibility.
Uh-huh.
When they reach out to you, unless of course it's 2 o'clock in the morning and they want to know if they can repaint a bathroom somewhere type of thing, make sure you are accessible.
Exactly. And how can we do that? We create the what? Perimeters of my accessibility. When I'm meeting with a buyer, I let them know. I want to let you know that I do a lot of showings in the afternoon. I get back to my emails by this time. It's from 6 to 8. I'm with my kids. There's sports, there's drop-offs, there's things like that. But if you can't contact me between 6 and 8, then between 9 and 10, I get back to you. It's just setting the expectation. Do not be afraid to set expectations to protect your time, your family, and the things that are important to you. I understand that money is important. I get it. But don't chase it. And don't let people control you. You'll make yourself crazy. And I don't know if I'm going to be seeing you at family reunion or one of these get-togethers because you said I got out of the industry because people just make me crazy because they need me all the time. You didn't control the situation. You didn't say between this and this. Or acknowledge their text or their email and say, I received your text. I'll get back to you in an hour. I'm at an appointment. Okay. So great job, Shelly. That's a great one. Help with paperwork, determining what comparable homes we're selling for, arrange and find good financing or finding a lender, an attorney. Some of them don't have an attorney. By the way, this is just a side note. If you can, at the beginning, when you're doing the wants and needs with your buyers and you're doing your buyer consultation, which I think is the end of next week, so definitely go to that class. I would ask them proactively, have you been working with a lender that's pre-approved you yet? Because I would love to introduce you to one. And is there an attorney, a real estate attorney? Is there a real estate attorney that you have in mind that you might be using? Because I definitely have a great library of them. What happens sometimes is the buyer, their uncle, who does just divorces, is going to what? Cross over and do their purchase and sale. That is a disaster. It's a disaster, but they don't understand that because they don't want to hurt Jerry's feelings because Jerry happens to be their uncle. And, he says, hey, I want to help my niece and nephew, whatever it is. And so try to keep it within the parameters of real estate. So they're going to look for you for all of these other things. Sometimes they want to help find renters for the buyer of the property. Yes.
Honey, don't hurt yourself.
Oh, I think you're just need to put yourself on mute. Thank you. Okay, so keep in mind these are results from buyers being asked to state the one thing that was important to them. And most buyers need help with paperwork and learning about the new neighborhood that they might be purchasing when they're asked. So think about the skills or service now that you offer that will align with the buyer's wants. What kind of skills or services do you think a buyer is going to look for?
Schools.
Schools, maybe they want knowledge of the school. Here is another footnote, if you will. You might know the town and you might pride, because this happened to me, in the fact that, oh my God, you want to look at a property on Vest? Oh, that is districted for Sargent Elementary School. Mind you, my kids at the time are in middle school and high school. But my knowledge of Vest was that they were allocated to, say, this particular school. Does redistricting for schools change by street? Yes. If somebody wants to know anything about the schools, you give them a general overview. And if they want to know specifically where this listing from the agent, and let's just say Agent Jen listed this property and she didn't put down what school it is, I would redirect and say, you know what, that's a great question. We are always redistricting these streets. The best way to find out if this is still districted for Sargent Elementary is to either A, call the secretary, because every secretary knows, or B, call the town and they'll let you know. So schools, yes. What else? Honest and trustworthy. Check it out. 20%. That makes me feel happy. I hope that when people are looking to hire a buyer agent, that they want you to be honest and trustworthy. If you don't know the answer, it's okay. The current jobs that you have right now, do you know the answers to everything? No. No one knows the answers to everything. Even if I own the restaurant, sometimes I don't even know the answers to everything. So always say to the client, that is a great question. I will get you that answer in 15 minutes. I will find that answer out for you. Please do not lie to them and say, yeah, you can put a pool back here. Money does everything. Put a pool in the back. And then find out that the conservation says it's too close to the wetlands and the house is too close for the 100-foot butter that needs to be there. And you absolutely cannot put a pool there. Okay, so honesty and trustworthy. If you could just mute yourself, I'm not sure actually who that one is, but if you could just, thank you. Agents experience. So 19% are looking for experience. Now, I'm going to help. Oh, let's see. Let's just find out who is not on mute. Just mute everybody. Mute. Sorry, guys. We just want to be careful that we want to stay muted on these calls unless you've raised your hand, just so we don't get any background noise. But okay, so your experience. If you haven't sold a property yet, it's okay. You can change the wording to say, we at Keller Williams have sold over 200 properties in this neighborhood. There's different ways that you can skirt the quote experience. But if you have a strong value proposition and you've crafted something that says something about your negotiation, your experience. I was a school teacher and I'm a business owner locally in town. I have restaurants, I have your reputation. I was on PTO. I had children go through the school systems. So my experience and knowledge about the community at best will help while we have this search, finding your forever home. Along with the things that I've learned at Keller Williams, it's necessary paperwork and due diligence that I have been trained on. And I'm looking forward to working with you to find that property for you. And then the client's like, okay. All right, so it's all about the answer on how you know how to skirt those questions if this is your first transaction. Your reputation of an agent or a person. Social media is good and social media is very bad. All right, I have a 20-year-old. I tell him this all the time. Thank God he's a great kid. I say to him, what you post on social media will determine whether or not you'll get hired in a job. Because it's so accessible that with your Instagram and your TikTok and your Facebook and blah, 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 whatever else is out there, there are a lot of people that look, it's a positive. Some people want somebody that's so influential posting all the time and things like that. If you look at some of these high school, college athletes, they're found because they're endorsed by Nike or some of these third parties because of all of their posts. But it's not detrimental. It's not bad stuff. It's all positive and good stuff is my point. But if you're posting all the time that you're at soirees and parties with drink in hand and things like that, that might not fit that clientele if that's not what they're looking for, if that makes sense. So your reputation of getting back to people, is your mailbox full? Do you play well with others? Have I heard your name in the industry? Don't ever do a transaction with so-and-so, they're so this. That gets around very quickly. So be professional even on those times where you need to Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and breathe and respond. You have to be professional. So the other category that we're talking about, this would be agent as a friend or a family member. The knowledge of the neighborhood is at 8%. Caring personality, good listener, 6%. Timely with response, 6%. Local community, 1%. Association with a particular firm, listen to this, 1%. I try to explain this to every real estate agent, whether you're at Keller Williams or not. You know, Williams said that he joined Keller Williams in Rhode Island, so he's at Keller Williams in Rhode Island, but in Massachusetts, he has his own thing going. That's awesome. This applies exactly to the mentality of 1% are aware as to what color sign, what company you belong to. Because what are their priorities? The buyer, what do they want you to do? Find the right home. What? In the right amount of time with least problems for the best money, yes? So whether you're at ABC School Real Estate, Jamie Camerata Real Estate, William Driscoll Real Estate, that's not what they're looking for. However, the knowledge, the systems, the training, the CRM platform, this, and that your company gives you defines all of the foundational learnings of what you can bring to the table representing a buyer. And they want to make sure that it has a good reputation. If Williams is an independent and doesn't get a good rap, which is not true, everybody, but if it didn't, then they probably wouldn't want to use that independent firm. Make sense? I'm sure it has a great rap though, William. Keep going, keep going. Okay. So if you resonate with any of these factors, consider including any of these things from the graphs into your value proposition. And so now we are going to practice for a little while, taking these attributes and putting them into maybe a client-centered language, which, what did she just say? Client-centered language. We need to be able to put this in a format that we could spit out. It's your personality. The way that I present, as you have all experienced for the last hour and 18 minutes, is very different than Tiffany. But the content and the value is the same, but our styles are different. And so some of you are going to love it, and then some of you are like, I can't relate to it, and that's cool too. We try. And so you as a real estate agent, as you're building your value proposition, want to add some of those things in there. So selecting one of the factors in the buyer value that we just talked about and say something like agent is honest and trustworthy. You could be writing in your value proposition something like, you can depend on me to help you make the best decisions. But I'm clear and articulate. If you get anything out of today, it's really crafting you. The reason why you have to craft this is because when you're direct and you come strong and you are confident and you know, and you say something like, when you hire me, you can depend on me to help you make the best decision based on your wants and needs that we discussed at our buyer consultation. And I'm firm with that statement. There's a confidence that exudes to the client that they're like, this is my girl. But if I'm wishy-washy and I'm like, I mean, why hire me? I probably am the best choice because I could maybe help you make good decisions. I don't know. They might like that, but it's stronger when you know your value. I will work to serve your best interest. That might be something more in the vocabulary area, because I just talked to you about that client-centered language that we're building. So I don't know if you have these in your manual, but it would be helpful right now if you have a pen and paper to write these two statements, because you might want to slide them into your value proposition. Number one, I will work to serve your best interests. I probably would write that one. Because later you're going to change that to say something like, I will work to best negotiate the best terms and conditions as possible, right? So the I will statement is a powerful statement. And you can depend on me to help you make the best decisions. I'm going to craft that. This is just me, because I definitely am not a script. I go off script. The region's so nice to let me teach. But I like to really personalize it. And I would say you can depend on me to help you make the best decisions based on your wants and needs that we discussed at our first buyer consultation. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because I want to remind them that I don't want them to hear the word me. Right? This isn't my money. This isn't about me. Unfortunately, it's not. It's about them. It's their money. So you want to make sure that you're allowing them permission to make decisions for themselves by asking them great questions. Okay, again, off script. There's an amazing book that helped me when I became a real estate agent and a team leader. It's called 7 Powerful Questions by Dorothy Deeds or Leeds. I can't remember. It's Deeds or Leeds, but 7 Powerful Questions. Great book. Why? Because she does a lot of examples of making statements, but turning them into questions to get the answer that you want. It's kind of like that FBI mirror matching, I'm in control, kind of a psychological thing. It's an easy read. That's a good one. Always ask questions, JAQ. All right, always ask questions. Come from curiosity. When you stop asking questions and you're the one talking all the time, you've lost that client. I'm just going to let you know. Okay, so we've looked at what buyers want. Now let's look at what sellers want. Do we need, before we get into sellers, do we need maybe a 7-minute break? Would that be good for everybody? Yes, I see some people starting to go off screen. They're starting to, be distracted. So let's do this. I have 10:23. Let's reconvene at 10:30. Stretch, get some water, get some coffee, open a window. I need you live, not like my beta fish that's like hibernating. And I swear I almost flushed him yesterday, but he somehow came back. I don't know how it is. And so I really want to do 30 more minutes of powerful understanding sellers to add to your value propositions so that you guys can go into action at 11. So take 7 minutes and we will be back.
What was the name of that book?
7 Powerful Questions. And again, it's Dorothy Deeds or Dorothy Leeds. I can't remember, but it's definitely a great book to read to understand how to turn a lot of our statements into questions. just want to let everyone know we have about 2 minutes, and I would like you back in front of the computer so that we can continue the next 30 minutes of learning what sellers want most from an agent, so we can successfully craft our value proposition, maybe together, before we end today. Okay. So I have 10:30 here on my clock, and we are ready to get started again to learn about sellers. So I do see a lot of you coming back, not there. Beautiful homes, pictures of doorways. I need you back. I need you back. All right, we're going to continue. So we just discussed buyers. So obviously buyers are looking for certain qualities, certain characteristics, certain things when they're hiring a buyer agent to help them with their wants and needs while purchasing a property. So now we're going to switch over to what sellers want most from their agent when they're looking to hire a real estate agent. So you can see by the chart right here that they're looking at 21% for an agent to help price their home competitively. Now, competitively sometimes means a seller might think that their house is worth $650, but you and I both know that you've done your due diligence, you've pulled your report, you did a CMA, and you're like, this really should be priced about $630. And you don't want to lose the listing, and the sellers have done their due diligence off of those fake sites, because remember, they played real estate agent overnight, and they're like, I know what it's worth. And they're like, okay, it's $650. Pricing it competitively, if you choose to price it, your conversations with the seller are that if there are no offers in writing 7 days from putting it live, we need to lower it $20,000 because we're going to chase the market if we don't. Competitively also means if there are already 4 homes on the market at $650 and they want to put theirs at $650, I probably would advise a meeting where you bring up in your conference room a screen and show them while sitting with them the competition, because that's what it is, the competition of all of the properties around $650, and say to them, here is a check. Here is a check for $650. You are now a buyer. you're a buyer for $650. Which property are you buying for $650? And show them, don't tell. No one likes to be told. No one. They want to be shown, guided, led, so that they make a decision. So the more that you can educate and show them what's there, and you're like, this is what the buyers are saying. This is what the market is showing. This is what technology is saying is available. This is what it is. Sometimes that could go better. Helping the seller market the home to potential buyers. Okay, so how are we marketing? Are we doing social media? Are we running Facebook ads? They want to know, what are you going to do that I wouldn't do to sell my property? Because remember, they think that they can put a stick in their yard that says for sale, maybe post on social media, maybe pay $500 to a third-party site to like an entry only listing, right? It's fun. They put it out there. They're like, I'm going to sell this myself. I'm going to save $25,000 because I don't think that someone has a strong value proposition as to why I should hire them to do a job that I think that I can do. And in the end, what usually happens? That for sale by owner ends up hiring an agent, because whoever that agent is was persistent, educated, had market knowledge. They had their scripts down, the tie downs. They asked a lot of questions. And more importantly, they knew the motivation as to where that seller was going, when they wanted to get there, why they're going, and who's helping them on the other side. Okay. Help the seller home with specific time frame. Obviously, they don't want to be without a house or a rental. So they want to make sure that somebody is well organized and educated enough to get them from point A to point B and selling at the same time. Help seller find ways to fix up the home to sell it for more. Okay, so we had someone, and I apologize, I can't remember your name. I thought I wrote it down here. But you are interior designer.
Yep, that's me, Margie.
Okay, Margie, perfect. So this is perfect because they want to know, what do I need to do? Give me the good feng shui, right? Go from this room to this room and put this in this room, take the mirror off this room, rearrange the furniture this way. Okay, and I know that that's maybe more staging, but interior decorating and staging are under the same umbrella. And so you offer a lot of that value. And right here, 16%, those, as a list agent, they want to know, what do you got? What do you got in that back pocket for me to hire you? And so the other category, now that's interesting. That's a strong 27%. So help find a buyer for the home. Obviously, that's going to go back up to where, how are we marketing it? How do we find the buyer? Most of us are going to put it in MLS. That's going to syndicate out to all the platforms. A buyer is going to find it typically before the real estate agent does, unless the real estate agent has been very prepared and they're staying in communication. They've put them on a drip campaign, and all new listings are being fed to that person based on their what wants and needs that they talked at the buyer consultation. And so helping find a buyer for their home is important. Help with negotiations and dealing with the buyers. Why? They want to what? Net the most money. So they want the negotiations. It's like going to the casino. That's what they want. They're like, here we go. Here we go. I want to know. Let's go. I'll give you this for this. Tell them that we won't leave them the patio furniture, or we will leave the patio furniture, but we want the $5,000 more. Okay, so you have to be great at negotiations. Help with paperwork, inspection, preparing for the settlement. So that's education, helping the seller see homes available to purchase. The biggest opportunity that is missed, swear to God, is that we're so compartmentalized in humanity that when we go for a listing, what are we doing? One thing, we're going for what? The listing. When in reality, usually when you have to list, those people have to what? Buy or rent. Okay. That is why I say right at the beginning, you need to know, why are we selling? Where are you going? Who is helping you to get there? I want to help you get there. Missed opportunities all the time. Okay, this is an interesting run. Help create and post videos to provide tours of my home. Okay, the great thing is that you're not the photographer, you're not the stager, you're not the attorney, you're not the lender. You usually hire somebody to take professional photos of their property. Videos, you can get a videographer to do a drone video, things like that. I bet you're going to see, once it's released, from 2021, which will be released in 2022 based off of NAR, I guarantee you what they want, they're gonna say social media interaction, creative posts, things like that. Because that is on the rise. The traditional throwing it into MLS, I'm sorry, they feel like they can do that themselves. Now, if technology is not your thing, that's okay. Go door knock. For every listing you take, tell them that you door knock the neighborhood to the closest 50 houses and personally invite them for a neighborhood open house, because now's the time to what? Pick your neighbor. I don't want to do all this work, guys. I honestly want other people to do my work for me too. And the best is the people in the neighborhood. They're nosy. They always know somebody that, oh my goodness, who's selling? We want to see their kitchen. We've never been into their house. I want them in their house. I want them in their house because they might be interested in selling. They might be interested in switching houses. They might be interested in not upgrading their kitchen and not taking out the carpets out of the bedrooms and putting hardwood. But guess what? Across the street that's being sold, they've already done it. I want that house. Let's talk about this. Okay. Helping with paperwork, inspections, things like that. That is what they're looking for in the other category. Factors sellers consider when choosing an agent, as well as the reputation of the agent, of course, 32% on this one. Interesting, the percentage, 32%. Agent is honest and trustworthy. Reputation came before honesty and trustworthy. These are the facts. Agent is a friend or a family member, and the other comes in with a 44%. Knowledge of the neighborhood, has caring personality, good listener, communication skills. Agent's commission at 4%. If your value, let me tell you something, if your value proposition is so strong and you know what you're talking about and you feel confident, you're gonna get the listing for what you want the listing to be signed for. When you go in there already thinking to yourself, it's a compensation conversation and that you're going to have to lower your commission and what does that look like? And then how much am I going to make? What you put out there, your energy, it attracts that. So when you talk about commission, please have your scripts ready and your value on, here is why, when you hire me to sell your house in the least amount of time, for the best price possible for you to net the most money. So see how I did all of those little tie downs? Why? Because that's what the seller wants to keep hearing. They want to keep hearing those 4 criteria. That is why you're hiring me at 5%. And here's what we're going to do for that. Agent association with a particular firm, 4%. I feel like it should be 1%, but that's not me. These are facts. These came from sellers. An agent seems 100% accessible because of the use of technology, tablets, smartphones. That means they want you 24/7. No, set the expectations, set the standards, and set the cast of characters. Are you the only one that they're hiring? Yes or no? No, no, you are not doing this alone. It's you. It's a home inspector. It's an attorney. It's a lender. It's a fire inspector. It's a buyer agent. It's a buyer's attorney. It's buyers. It's a lender. There's so many people involved. So let's look at the top response from what sellers consider when choosing an agent. Reputation, which we just talked about. We encourage you to lean on the powerhouse reputation of KW. We do. As you're getting started. So you can tell potential clients, and I would write this one down. This is another one that you might want to add in your value proposition if you choose to, if it fits you. KW has the strongest reputation in our market for helping people with their real estate needs in the fastest time frame with the least number of problems. Now, see what you did? Let's say you haven't done a transaction yet. What you did is you leaned on your company. KW has the strongest reputation in our market. For what? For helping people with what? Their real estate needs. When? In the fastest time frame with the least amount of problems. And I told you, we repeat this. I would repeat this in your car when you're going over these scripts. This is the stuff I'm talking about. This is what they want to hear. So now that we've looked at the trends of what's important for buyers and sellers, what are the differences between what they need? And why do you think that those exist? So we had a couple of importance and differences here with the percentages. I think that we did a great enough job without diving too deep into it of why reputation versus honesty and loyalty came first on a listing versus with the buyers, because the buyers, they use any agent from anywhere. When it's local, they want to know reputation. It makes sense. There are going to be different ones intertwined there. So Keller Williams obviously is committed to adding to your value proposition, but in today's market, that means investing in some sort of technology that propels your business forward. Now, whether you are a technology person or not, that's not the point. The point is that your technology, because in order to get paid, you have to do it through DocuSign or Dotloop in your company, or pen and paper scan, which is technology, over to your MCA to get paid. However your office is run, there's technology through a copier, a scanner, a tablet, a phone, some documents somewhere. So utilize it. Take the time in January to learn how to use Command. I have to tell you, it's not because I'm a team leader. If I went into production, the amazing capabilities that the Command platform has to simplify your life is amazing, and to naturally grow organic leads through subliminal marketing, subliminal emails. Even if it's honestly once a month, you've just signed all of the people in your database up to the monthly turn your clock back. Happy spring, happy St. Patty's Day, happy Valentine's Day, happy Memorial Day, Labor Day. Even if they're just on that campaign, at least they're seeing you in their email once a month, and hopefully you're doing something else, staying in touch with these people that are in your database. So being a KW agent, it means that essentially you need to start building your brand. You're a business owner. Okay, you're a business owner. Somebody said, the commercial person that's in commercial, you said, commercial takes a long time, things like that, but we, haven't made a lot of money. Well, it takes some time to plant apple trees before apple trees grow and apples are on the trees in order for you to sell the apples. And so that's what you're doing here through this training. You're building the strongest, and don't skip parts. You're building the strongest foundation so that later on, you're not making a comment like somebody else made about, I should have done this 5 years ago. I could have done this 10 years ago. I should have been, coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, woulda. Stopped. We're doing it now. So plug into this. Smart plans. Okay, we use these. What's a smart plan? This is how I look at a smart plan. Basically, in my head, if I'm like, I wish that I could send an email and then follow up with the text message 2 days later. That's a smart plan. It's a plan that is smart and strategic because you've written the email, you've scheduled when you want it to go out, you've typed up the text, and you've scheduled it for when you want it to go out. That's a smart plan. Your KW app, artificial intelligence, the power. I mean, I don't know the age group on here. It doesn't really matter, but if you haven't seen You Got Mail, go watch it. AOL dial-up, Commodore 64, my dad, Jamie, Carmen San Diego, let's buy this game on the Commodore 64. Let's email through AOL, my mother over here, and in 3 days, she's gonna hear from us. And now in 2023, we can't live without technology. During COVID, we learned a couple of things in real estate. One, the real estate agent can actually close successfully transactions without having to be in person all the time. An attorney doesn't have to always be in person for purchase and sale. You don't always have to be at the closing. DocuSign, dot loop, everything was electronic. My parents, horrible with technology. If they wanted to eat, what did they have to do? They had to scan a QR code. I know that. They had to learn. And so technology can be your friend. The KW app, giving that to your friends and family, it's cool. I was in Nantucket for the Christmas Nantucket stroll in December, and first time in Nantucket, and just wanted to do this whole trip. And I thought, I wonder how much homes are here. Crazy question, but I just wanted to know, how many millions is each home? Is there anything under 1 million? And I have the KW app. As soon as I turned the app, opened the app, it told me what was available in the area, how much it was. I'm just trying to get rid of this, and it won't get rid of my email. And how much it was. And so that was pretty cool that it did all of that fast. If your consumers have that, there are buttons right there on there that are going to show you exactly what's going on. I'm just gonna clean all that out. Okay, so.
Excuse me. Hello, this is
Yes.
Ed.
Oh, me? No, I think you just have to mute yourself. So KW technology intertwined with your value proposition. What does that look like? All right, we're just gonna kind of move on from there. All right, so when you use technology with the KW app command platform, you actually can use that in your value proposition to say that we have a very integrative platform of technology where, now some of you are gonna say, what am I talking about? So just hear me out for a minute. We have the ability, and we have the ability that when you take a listing and you get those pretty pictures and that pretty video, with the use of a QR code, which is very easy to make, when clients come in to see the property, they could take a picture of the QR code. The QR code can go to something in Keller Williams called a landing page. Please write that down. Go look that up in YouTube. Marty Miller creating a landing page. 6-minute video, watch it. It's unbelievable what it can do. I create a landing page, which is let's just call it 123mainstreet.com, that it goes to, that shows the property. It shows the pictures, and underneath it has this thing called a lead capturing box. That lead capturing box, they have to enter their name, their phone number, their email, the essentials. Once they do that at my quote open house, instead of doing it on pen and paper, as soon as they do that, it goes into my what? Command contacts. And when it goes into my contacts, guess what I get? A text message. When I get a text message, I say, Shelly, thank you so much for filling out our lead form. Come into the open house on a scale of 1 to 10, start upstairs. I'm going to ask you, how are you loving the house? 10 being like, we're going to put an offer, and 8, we're still kind of figuring it out. Enjoy. Now they're in my database. And if I understand landing pages, everyone, and I'm talking to my sellers, from there, I've captured leads, but I could point them to wherever. I could create Facebook ads and campaigns to run the listing. I could create a smart plan follow-up so that after I close up the open house and I go to the Pats game, everybody who came in, I open up my command app and I put them onto a smart plan that I created this morning called 123 Main Street. It has an email. Thank you so much for coming into today's open house at 123 Main Street. If you have any questions about the property, please let me know. We're looking forward to a lot of offers to be due by 5 o'clock on Monday, blah, 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 blah. And I scheduled to send out at 5 p.m. on Sunday. My open house was from 11 to 2. I don't know, whatever the times are. I get to enjoy the Pats game. Technology did its job. I wrote the email. I said what time to send it. Monday morning, text message. All offers due by 6 p.m. on 123 Main Street. If you're still interested, let me know. But Jamie, I heard back from 2 people from my email that said, take me off your email. I'm not interested. Maybe they scheduled a showing. That's fine. Open up your command app on your phone, tap their name to stop getting the text or the next trigger that's going to happen. It sounds like a lot of information, but I promise you, if you spend some time on YouTube, watch Marty Miller 7.0. Marty Miller, all he does is teach technology. He basically chunks it down into 7-minute videos that helps you understand how to use it. And the 7.0 version is today's version, live in 2022. It's live. 2023, I said 2022. Okay, value proposition. Let's get going here. So I know that Tiffany gives you this time to go on mute and to go implement some of these things. And so I want to be able to identify your knowledge, your attitudes, your skills and belief that make you qualified to be a real estate agent. But I want you to work on this. So part of the tasks that we do after the success portion, write those words down or take a picture of this slide. In your value proposition, you will be naming your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, beliefs, so that when you implement your success system today, make this part of it. Transform the value you provide and the value of KW in your market center into benefits for your clients, even if you haven't sold a property when you're building your value proposition. Okay. So 1, identify knowledge, attitude, skills, beliefs, or take a screenshot, take a photo. Step 2, transform the value that you provide. So remember, you've all had jobs. You either, I'm bilingual, I communicate effectively, I love spreadsheets, I'm an interior designer, I was a contractor, I worked for Amazon, I know every back street, this street, that street, neighborhood, this, that. There are qualities in every job that you've had. Transform that value and the value of the market center into benefits for all of your clients and build that value proposition today. So this is role play that we are going to do together. So I'm going to kind of skip through all this. Building the value proposition. I think it was, and I'm not sure if she's still on, but Janice, if you're still on and you don't mind sharing, just unmute yourself when you're ready. Being in the industry and being in real estate for 15 plus years, you obviously have a value proposition to your clients. One being that you are in California and Cape Cod. So she's from East Coast to West Coast, plus that whole referral database. So I'm not sure if she's on here to be able to share, but while she's doing that, I'm going to read my notes and give you some examples of some strong value propositions that you can listen to or write down keywords. So example 1, and these are not mine, these are from other agents, just to be clear. Through my 7 years of real estate experience selling both commercial and residential property, I know I can make your real estate dreams a reality, whether you're hoping to buy your first house or sell your commercial property to receive a nice return of investment. I will use my skills and expertise to advise you on the most effective buying or selling strategies and find you the best price. I promise to make your real estate endeavors simple and hassle-free, so you can feel encouraged and excited about the next chapter of your life. Okay, here's my challenge. Okay, technology. Everybody have a phone right now?
Yeah.
Okay, take your phone out. Go into your voice memo. If you don't know where your voice memo is, hold down the search from the top of your phone, if you have an Apple phone, start to type in the words VOI, like voice memo, and click it. When you open that up, there's a red dot. It will allow you to record something. Are we there? Some of us there? Okay. I'm going to read that one again, because some of you are writing it and I really want you to build this value proposition today. And so you're writing it so fast and we're going so fast that maybe if you had it as a recording, it might help you be purposeful today on recording what I'm going to say. So you're going to hit the red button in a moment. When I say 3, 2, 1, hit it. I'm going to read what I just read. And then when I'm done, I'm going to say stop and you hit the button again. Sound good?
No, because I didn't get to where you were at. You were going too fast.
Do you have an Apple phone?
No.
Ooh,
No.
I don't. Okay. Well,
That's okay then.
so this is what I would suggest. Put your email in the chat box.
Okay, hold on.
And Shelly, if you don't mind, if you don't mind, because you have my email and it will be easier. And I know that Ashley had to step away. If you don't mind, if you could see the person that's writing their email, could you write it down and send it to me in an email, and I will record for her and send to her. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I feel like this value, again, is so important that I want you to craft something. And then I want you to listen to it every day. And I want you to repeat it, because it's going to be who you are while they're hiring you. And the more you're good with it, and it is scripts, but when you customize it and internalize it and you know your value proposition like this, you just sound so much stronger. All right, you ready? All right, 3, 2, 1, hit record. Through my 7 years of real estate experience, selling both commercial and residential property, I know I can make your real estate dreams a reality. Whether you're hoping to buy your first house or sell your commercial property to receive a nice return of investment, I will use my skills and expertise to advise you on the most effective buying or selling strategies and find you the best price. I promise to make your real estate endeavors simple and hassle-free, so you can feel encouraged and excited about the next chapter of your life. End recording. Okay, here's one more, and we're going to record this one as well. What I encourage you to do before we finish the next 30 minutes about our success system and time building this is, it's the key words I want you to listen to. So remember, the key words about buyers and sellers, when we have that slide, the buyers want you to find a property in the right amount of time for the best amount possible, hassle-free, and the sellers want to net as much money possible in the short amount of time, hassle-free. Okay, we're going to record the second one. So, here's the second one. 3, 2, 1, press the red button. Buying or selling commercial property doesn't have to be a challenge. Through my 7 years of experience, I've had the pleasure of helping clients buy over 40 properties at a reasonable rate and sell over 50 commercial buildings. Using my skills and expertise, I know I can assist you in your real estate goals by consulting with you on different buying or selling strategies while helping you find the best space for the right price. Whether you're looking to expand your business operations or make a profit on your office space, I can help you make the process easy, period. And note. Okay, if you need other examples, I would ask your team leader, I would ask your productivity coach, or you can Google. Google's your friend too. Real estate value propositions of real estate agents. Pull from some of those keywords. I challenge you to think of words that describe you. Honest, authentic, friend, wife, partner, lover of books, blah, blah, what, all the things that you are. And start to build some of those words to build your value proposition, okay? Now, part of the success systems and what you're going to be doing, probably for 20 minutes, and then we'll reconvene just to do some ahas. So for 20 minutes, you have been having 10 conversations a day, hopefully. Eventually, you're going to be adding 10 contacts to your database, 10 handwritten notes, and the 10-5-1 social media engagement. Don't be overwhelmed about the number 10. If you have one person, if you have one conversation about real estate today and add one into your contact, into your database, it's one. Tomorrow, do 2. And then do 2, 2, 2 till you can do 3, 3, 3. Then when you can do 4, 4, 4 to go to 5, 5, 5. You're gonna work your way up. I don't want you to kill yourself and be like, I have to add 10. It's so stressful. Well, it's work. We got to work a little bit. We got to build this foundation for you to be plentiful. Look at your phone right now. If you have an Apple phone and you can go into your contacts, okay, so you hit the phone icon, and when you hit the phone icon, at the bottom, it says favorites, recent, contacts, keypad, voicemail. And you hit the word contacts. And you scroll all the way to the bottom. I'm doing it myself. I have 1,245 contacts in my phone. All of those people should be in my database. That's where you start. But I don't want to put them in because I'm afraid, because what if? What if they need my help? What if they have a listing? I don't know what I'm doing yet. What if they want to buy something? I'm not knowledgeable enough. Listen, Chicken Little, that's not what we're here for. We're here for contacts. It's a great problem if one of our family members, friends, somebody that we know said, hey, listen, actually, we are looking for an investment property in Bonita Springs. We are thinking about selling our property next spring. How long have you been doing this? A few years now. I made it a goal to get my real estate license and go through all this training and things like that. And I'm ready, and I have huge business goals for myself. And I'd love the opportunity to list your property. Let me come over and give you a comparative market analysis or an equity report. That's my newest one. Why equity report? Because they don't really know what a CMA is, a comparative market analysis, but they know what equity is, I hope. And equity is how much money do you have in your house? At some point, they had to put 3%, 5%, 20% down to buy the house, did they not? And if they haven't borrowed against it, then they have equity. So maybe I'm going to do an equity report for you and let you know how much your house is worth. Don't miss those business opportunities with friends and family because you don't have the knowledge today. You'll kick yourself later. Do it now and then start adding the other people. Okay. So I'm going to give you, it's 11:06. So I will give 15 minutes for you to work on A, crafting your value proposition or a sentence or a couple sentences for a buyer or seller, or B, adding a couple people to your database and contacts. Put yourself on mute, call someone, have a conversation about real estate, or a couple of handwritten notes that you've been meaning to write with your business card to say, Happy New Year. Hey, Jason, I hope you and the kids are well. It's Jamie. I got my real estate license. Didn't tell anybody. I love it. I love what I'm doing. Ready to go. Have some great business plans for myself and business goals. I'd love the opportunity to work with you or people that you know. Think of me when buying, selling, investing, and renting. Cheers. Whatever your note card's going to say. I'll give you 15 minutes. We'll come back. We'll close it out. I'll give you some ideas. And then we'll hear from you on what you got out of it. Was it helpful? Which I hope it was. I really hope it was. and any good things come out of what you just put in. So 15 minutes.
Jacqueline?
Let's say I have 500 people in my phone. How do I go about getting all of their addresses and emails?
Ooh, somebody answer that one for them. I know.
So I don't know anybody's address or email. I just know their name and number.
Okay.
Hi.
So,
There's
Call
a
them.
there's a peoplesearch.com as well. If you plug in the phone number, it'll bring up who owns the phone. Or if you know their address and you're looking for their phone number, you do the opposite.
this is all very true.
That helped me doing my contacts a lot.
What's that website?
I believe it's peoplesearch.com.
Peoplesearch.com. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can always reach out and say hi too.
Jacqueline? Jacqueline, can you hear me?
Okay, so here's the thing. Lead generation is different for everyone. Do not be afraid of the word lead generating. Lead generating can be anything from door knocking. It could be cold calling. It could be warm calling friends and family. It could be behind the scenes with social posts. It could be at your favorite experience this evening at the bar and having a conversation with other people. It could be a networking event. It could be at PTO. It could be at the book club that you host. It could be at poker night. I'm going to be at Mohegan this weekend. I'm throwing down craps. Maybe I'm going to be like, who wants to buy or sell? Throw out whatever you want during the time that you want. That is lead generating. So that answer to that question, one, if they're in your phone, this is what I firmly believe. It's just my belief. If they're in your phone and you can't call them, delete them. Because why are they occupying space in your phone, which is your personal phone, when you don't want to have a conversation or you're afraid? Okay, number one. Number two, go to your team leader, productivity coach, someone, what conversation should I have with those people? Okay. And what Judy said, if you don't want to do that yet, and that's cool too, you can go to the white pages. Okay, whitepages.com. You can go to peoplesearch.com. And for the most part, or if your office has Cold Directory, write that down. I have a subscription to Cold Directory for my agents here. Cold Directory is an online source that already tells me the do not call list. It's updated with certain things so that you can just circle prospect neighborhoods without having to do all the activities of the do not call list. Make
Did
sure.
you say cold?
COLE. Yep, COLE directory.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and you can buy it yourself. I'm not telling you to buy it, but see if your market center has it first. But it is a great tool if you're not afraid of the phone. Okay.
Jacqueline, can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, all right, I muted her. All right, so if you don't have any questions for me now, what you're doing just for a few more minutes is either building that value, writing a note, entering contact, having a conversation. Okay, and Ashley was polite enough to put the Cole information for the Cold Directory in the chat. So it's also in there as well. Janice, I'm just seeing your text, your chat. So in 8 minutes at 11:20, I'll ask you to come off mute so that you can share your value proposition.
Jamie,
Yes.
can I put something in the chat that might be helpful? It's ChatGTP is an AI engine.
Yep.
And I just threw that question into it, and I'm going to just put the input and the output in the website in there. Just for the novelty, it helps. It's a pretty quick way to get stuff done. The only thing is it doesn't have the most current information, so you couldn't look up like market information that's current, but something that's not time bound. It's a pretty good little tool.
Thank you. Yes, any value add is always, as long as it's positive, is always warranted.
Yeah, then there's also in the NAR site, there's a lot of certifications, military personnel certification, reloads and things like that, that if you want to have different value, I get certified as a green realtor from NAR. So because the environmental concerns that I have.
Yep, remember 1% of both buyers and sellers in that other category were about designations. So not to overwhelm everybody, but William is correct. There are some really great designations that if you love to work with the elderly, or if somebody said interior design and stuff. So there are some of those designations in there. There's military, there's so many. So that should be on your vision board for 2023 in terms of education, to maybe get 1 or 2, not to overwhelm yourself, designations that might apply to your personality first. Like William said that, you were in, I think, military or this or that. That might make sense to get first for someone. Because that could definitely add value, thank you. Ooh. So if you're finishing up what you're doing, Janice did write something really great in the chat about value propositions that covers both the buyers and sellers. And it's used from Chris Heller, who is also in our company. And it usually covers all the basis. The current one is commitment. So we talk about commitment in all things here with our Y4C2Ts in our company, but commitment to you in terms of integrity, honesty, communication, knowledge, education, reliability, a pleasurable experience, and most importantly is to listen to your wants and needs. Now that's a lot, but I love that. I would screenshot that before we end our call today too, because a lot of that language I would be crafting into my value proposition.
Jacqueline?
Jamie,
Oh, is it Jamie? Oh.
I'm Jamie, yes.
Oh, Jamie, sorry. This is Janice. Mine is very direct, but then I'm able to elaborate on it because they'll ask me to explain the different aspects. So, yeah. And Chris Hellers is fantastic, I think, don't you?
Chris is amazing. I mean, I
Covers
love
it all. Yeah. So, yeah.
It
That's
leaves it open. So kind of what Janice is saying, it does leave it open. So remember, there's a sender and a receiver in communication. Not everybody communicates and takes it the way that I'm sending it and vice versa. So if she says this statement to people, then it opens up conversation, because whatever's important to that person, let's say it was Shelly, and I read that to I said that to Shelly because I memorized it. And then Shelly says, tell me a little bit more about your reliability, or tell me a little bit more about your integrity. Then I know that's important to her for me to go down that rabbit hole of information to be like, what I mean by integrity is this. And so I love that, Janice, because it does open that dialogue between the buyer and the seller and yourself, so that they feel like they're part of the conversation, that they're not just being spoken at during the consultations. All right, it's 11:20. Did we have any success? What did we do with our little bit of our time? Did we write down the words? What have we learned? Talk to me. New people, talk to me. I see 2 pages worth of people here, and I finally have you all to myself without a slide on here. So I'll start calling people.
Hi, I'll go.
Thank you. Brianna.
How's it going? Happy Friday, everyone. So I am co-hosting an open house Saturday and Sunday in Danvers, Massachusetts. So I'm using the Keller Williams command to generate a post for social media to advertise it.
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm just kind of going through the kinks and making it pretty.
I love it. I'm telling you, running those Facebook ads and campaigns are awesome. For $10, it just collects people's information. Definitely valuable. It's great. And you're doing it both the same location, Saturday and Sunday?
Correct. 12 to 2.
Okay, and so you seem very technology savvy. So my challenge to you as a team leader, video, it's not for everybody, but get in front of that house, stop being nervous about what we look like. No one's like, oh, her hair was off today. No, it's the value. Get on there and be like, hey, everybody, this is Jamie Camerata. I'm in front of 123 Main Street in Danvers today. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, unbelievable, will not last. Market is still hot. I know rates are where they are, but if you lock this up and put 20% down, you could be looking at, now remember, we're disclosing this, you could be looking at a payment between this and this. And if that fits what you're looking for, come see me. I have hot cocoa, cookies, whatever. Say whatever it is, give some sort of value. Yeah. But people love that. And since you love technology, I definitely challenge you for that. So congratulations. Good luck on your post and your campaign through the command portal. All right, what else? Who else has something for me? Am I a lot of energy for all of you guys? All right, if you're gonna speak, you just have to take yourself off mute. Go ahead.
Me?
Yep, Major.
Okay. Well, I kind of revisited my bio, and there are things that on there I knew I kind of wanted to change anyway, and I still, so I'm kind of wrote down some thoughts and ideas regarding things that you gave that maybe I can update it or make the bio better. And then that will also be helpful as a script for me to, although I would put it in my own words, I would never like memorize anything, you know?
So it's not really, so you're customizing, internalizing, and memorizing. All right, those are the 3 words. So scripts are not bad. I'm not a scripty girl. You can't put me into a box. That's why I'm a team leader, by the way.
I'm like that too.
Okay, so I'm kind of all over the place and it works until it doesn't work. But when I'm in a recruiting appointment, I have learned the scripts and I've internalized some of the questions.
Yep.
The way that I articulate the questions with a couple of my personality traits within that allows the same information to get across, but with my style.
I would do exactly that too. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's why I want you guys to build a value proposition. And I want you to listen to it in your car. I want you to record it in your notes and listen to yourself. Why? Because I want you to hear, I can help you buy, sell, invest in rent and real estate. How's the market? Depends. Are you in the buyer side or the seller side? I need you to know some of these things. The more you hear it, it's going to shock you. I promise you, someday you're going to be at a location. You've chosen to do this. And when it comes out of your mouth, you're going to be like, oh, there it is.
Like second nature, right?
Yes. Yes. And then you'll be like, I'm there. And the only way you're going to be there really, guys, is by repeatedly, like Janice said, she's an experienced agent. She's come to Ignite as much as possible. Why? Because everyone adds value. Somebody might have said something, customized something was there for her to bring into her business. And so you're always learning, right? So that's really great. That's really great. So I am going to actually stop the recording. So thank you for coming today.